What is going on in the woods today? It is just above freezing and it's only going to get colder as the night goes on. I have about 3 hours till sunset. I have no shelter and I have no sleeping bag. I have a backpack with very minimal gear. I've got my knife, a saw, and some food and something to start a fire with. And that is about it. Plan for tonight is to build 2 fires, one on each side of me, hoping to stay warm enough to make it through the night. So let's get hiking. All right, I think I found my spot for the night. Now it is very windy out right now, so I'm hoping down here I got 2 big banks on either side. It's gonna help kind of block the wind. Plus it rained a lot last night, so everything's fairly wet, so I shouldn't have an issue with building a couple big old fires. So next step is really just collecting firewood because I'm gonna need a lot of it to get through the entire night. All right, not ideal. I usually like them standing upright and dried out, no bark. This one's laid down, obviously. A little bit wet probably, but the inside I'm hoping is gonna be nice and dry because I want some big, thick timber, so that way this fire is gonna last me all night long. So we'll take some of this for sure. Plus it's close to camp. All right, I think that is enough of that tree. The rest, not looking so great. That's actually not looking all that great either, but I think it'll work for tonight. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and clear out the area now. Before I get any more wood over here, I'm gonna clear out where I want these fire at, so that way I can, place them as I bring them over instead of having to move them twice. So, time to clean, I guess. All right, so what I'm basically doing is building 2 long fires, one on each side of me. This main log on the ground is what's going to support about 5, maybe 6 logs, all overhanging. I'm going to start the fire underneath here, and this main log is going to hopefully push that heat towards the center. Same on the other side, towards the center, where I will be laying and sleeping all night long. Last time I went camping, I was in my hammock. I built a really big long fire on one side of me. And I remember it just being so warm, almost too warm, while I was sleeping that night until it obviously died out. But it felt so good, so that's why I was thinking 2 fires, one on each side. I'll be on the ground, closer to the fire. Should keep me warm enough tonight because it's gonna have to. It's gonna drop below freezing, so it's gonna have to work tonight. I got this log here and another one like it. It's not as dry as the rest, but I figured I'll center these ones. Maybe they'll burn a little bit slower, I don't know. First time ever doing this. And I'll surround it with everything else I got. And I'll have a few extra logs on standby just in case these all burn up and I have to keep adding to it. I do not know how this is gonna work tonight, but we'll find out together, I guess. Not really sure how close I need to be to these fires or what's gonna be too dangerous. I feel like this is gonna be okay right here. So I'll aim for that, I guess. All right, I think 5 is the magic number. We got 5 logs all across there. I'll have our fire down underneath that. Same on this side, fire down there. I pushed all the leaves to the center because what I did bring was a tarp. I brought a tarp just to throw on the ground because, like I said, it rained all night last night. Didn't know how wet the ground would be. So I'll have a tarp laid out, and that's what I'll have to sleep on. That is it. So we'll throw that on top of the leaves, gives me a little bit of cushion, and that's it. So next thing is just to gather up some little twigs, stuff that I cleaned up. We'll get some small fires started on the ends underneath there, and we'll just see how it takes off, I guess. So let's start some fires. All right, while I'm processing some wood, I did bring my bread I made last night. I'll let it sit out in the sun, get warmed up just a little bit. All right, I think I have enough firewood cut down to a manageable size, but I'm gonna go ahead and baton these down to something a little bit smaller so that way it'll take the fire nicely, get that thing really going. Well, I got them both going. They feel pretty nice. I think at this point I'm just gonna keep feeding the fires, build up some coals. I got my bread for tonight, and I got a big old steak I'm gonna cook also on the coals. So plan for now is just feed the fire, keep it going, get it spread out underneath all those 5 logs that are on each side. It feels good already. So the fire is going really, really good. And this log right here has actually been kind of central of all the flames and all the heat. And on the underside has created a really nice coal layer. So I think I'm gonna try to flip that log over and utilize the other side to cook the steak. So get up there and see if we can get ourselves a nice crispy outside layer on the steak from this log. So I'm gonna flip it over now, get the steak on there. Ooh, you can hear it sizzling already. Oh yeah, that worked out so good. Ooh, it's a bit sticky, but it's workable. There we go. There we go. Should have just enough for breakfast tomorrow. All right, so I let this fire die down just a little bit so I can kind of get this bread up and in here, see if we can get it cooked. Oh yeah, I think that'll work quite nice. Oh yeah, there's a fair amount of heat right there, so it's like a little oven. Rotated it once, it is looking very good. Got our steak up and over here, nice crust. I think it's about done. Look at that right there. Man, that looks good. Oh. Of course, I don't have any utensils, so we're going caveman style here. Oh, that looks good. Mmm. That is so good. And check out her bread. Ooh, still warm. Oh my gosh. That is so good. Nice and warm. Man, it's like perfectly pink in the center. The middles is still a little doughy, but the rest of it is delicious. So as the logs are burning back, I just keep pushing them forward and just slowly let them drop into the fire, and eventually the logs will all be gone. So it's been like 2.5 hours, I'd say, since the fires really got going. Yeah, that's the first time I've had to actually push anything forward. So I'm really thinking we're gonna get a good, I don't know, I hate to say it now, but probably wake up freezing cold sometime in the morning, but I think these are gonna last just about all night. I might have to replace this bottom log at some point if it decides to burn through the center and maybe snap and stuff starts to kind of fall down. I'm not sure, so it'll be an interesting night for sure. This is working out very nice, very warm in here, a lot warmer than I thought. It's actually almost too warm, but as the night goes on and the temperatures drop, this is gonna be probably a perfect setup, I hope. we go. Oh, yeah. That feels nice. Man, it is so toasty in here. So I picked up a digital thermometer just to have with me because this is kind of something I wanted to see what the difference was. But currently right now, I don't know if you can see this, it is 63 degrees right here where I'm laying at. So I've had it sitting right here on my tarp for about 10 minutes just to let it situate, get to temp. It's at 63 degrees. I'm laying here and it's almost too hot. I have my fluffy down coat in my backpack that I thought I was going to wear tonight, and I'm not going to wear it. That would be just way too much. And I'm just going to let this, I think, die out, and I'll let just the smoldering logs continue pushing off the heat, I think, for the rest of the night, because it's just crazy. Before I pulled this over here, this thing was sitting at 28 degrees, so it's below freezing. 28 degrees outside my fire ring, or my fire area, and 64. Oh, it's a 66 now. I mean, it is toasty. It is toasty for sure. So huge temperature difference. I'm gonna have no problem sleeping tonight unless I get too hot. All right, guys, I am ready for bed. Just pushed all the logs a little farther forward, give them plenty of room to burn and do their thing for the night. I think it's about 9:30 right now. So I'm gonna hit the ground. See you guys all in the morning. Well, I made it. It is like 7:30 in the morning. I slept pretty darn good. I mean, obviously I had to get up a handful of times to move logs around, add little stuff to it to keep the fire going, but I stayed pretty warm. I think at one point, shortly after I went to bed, I actually took off my coat and my beanie because I was sweating in here, hoping it was just going to die out and be a little cooler. And I think maybe around midnight was the first time I woke up cold, put everything back on, and stoked these things really good. Got them up and going again. And then, yeah, then I was just up a handful more times, feeding the fire. And there is not much log left. I mean, we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. So just enough for some hot breakfast. So it's about perfect. So they lasted, I mean, a good 10 and a half, almost 11 hours, these single fires. So at one point in time, I got up last night and I put my thermometer back away from the fire, and it dropped down to about 24 degrees. So, you know, the warmest in here, I think last night was, I said it was at 65, and it was creeping up. I mean, I think we hit probably 70, 74, and then outside the low was 24. So that's a huge difference in temps. So this thing definitely worked pretty nicely. But let's get some breakfast going. I was just getting some stuff ready, peeked at it. So it's still at 25 degrees. So I mean, it's still pretty darn cold out. Not sure if you guys can see that again, but 25, still a cold night. So I rolled this one log over. I think I'm gonna do kind of the same thing I did the steak. I'm gonna lay my bread right over this thing, and it should cook it up quite nicely, I would imagine. Make it long and skinny. There we go. Oh yeah. Oh man, look at that. That looks so good. Not too bad. Man, actually looks pretty darn good. Got some peanut butter. To top it off. I did not make coffee this morning, but I love the flavor of instant coffee. So I'm going to pour it right over the top of this. Look at that. I think it'll work. That is good. My water did partially freeze again last night. That is not why I'm making water. No, that is not why I'm not making coffee. I brought a pan to boil water, but I didn't bring nothing to actually put hot water in to drink it. I'm not gonna try to drink it out of my pan, scalding hot, so. Bread, peanut butter, coffee, breakfast it is. That was good. All right, I gotta stomp out some fires, pack up a few things. I'm ready to head on out of here. What an epic night. Sleeping out in the cold, no shelter, no sleeping bag, just two big old fires, stoking them all night long, and it worked. It was a great time. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. We'll see you next time. Later.